What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, First Presbyterian Church, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. It is great to be with you again on the YouTubes. This is your sermon preview for Sunday, July 6th, 2025. Okay, we are continuing in our sermon series on David. Hope everybody had a great 4th of July, by the way. I'm recording this the morning of the 4th of July. Be safe. Hope you're safe out there. Our sermon series is on David. We're looking at the life of David, some of the high points from his life, the faith that he demonstrated. We looked at David and Goliath last week. We're fast forwarding a bit into the future here. David is on the run from Saul. Saul wants to kill David. Saul is in like a manic, just obsessive state of, what's the word? He's unhinged. He's he's no restraint whatsoever pursuing David. And David's hiding in the cave. This is a pretty familiar story. David's hiding in this cave, and Saul goes into the cave, and David doesn't kill him, cuts off a piece of his robe. So I'm going to read this portion from 1 Samuel 24. I'm going to stop it. I had originally planned to read through quite a bit of the chapter, and then I thought I'd just read the whole chapter of 24. But then that started to feel a little bit long to me, so we're actually backing off a little bit. The bulletin says that we're reading through verse 15. We're actually going to stop sooner than that. I don't remember what verse number it is because I don't have the verse numbers in my printed sermon. We're stopping kind of right after Saul exits the cave. I do encourage you to go back maybe before worship tomorrow and read all of 1 Samuel 24, just so you get the gist of the exchange between David and Saul after that, because it's a pretty sweet exchange that they have, and that's really a turning point in Saul's pursuit of David and in their relationship, really, which is pretty neat. I just don't think it matters much for where we're going with the sermon, and it's long, so you're welcome. I'm not going to read that much tomorrow. What we're focusing on is a little different, and it is the idea of divine coincidences. Presbyterians, spoiler alert, Presbyterians don't believe in coincidences, and I'll talk about that tomorrow. But we do believe in providence. We do believe that God provides and cares for us, and God knows what's best for us and takes care of us and has a plan. Providence and coincidence are not the same thing. I was going to put it in the sermon, but I didn't, but I'll tell you now. Coincidence comes from a Latin word which means to fall together, coincidere, and to fall together. Providence is providere, which means to see ahead. So they're really, even though they sound similar, coincidence, providence, they're not the same at all. And I think we can confuse one for the other. Like I said, we don't believe in coincidences. We believe in providence, but we experience things as coincidences, And so it raises interesting questions. And I want us to think about coincidences as glimpses into God's providence, these little signs that God gives us. And so that's what we're going to talk about. And I think that's what David experienced in the cave that day. That Saul, of all people, would come into the cave and be sitting there unknowing. He has no idea that David and his men are in this cave. And that is quite the divine coincidence. And yet, David doesn't feel that God is calling him to kill Saul in that moment. So that's what we're going to talk about. Some of that stuff. Hope to see you tomorrow. Remember, we got one service we got Sunday school starting at 9, and then worship beginning at 10:15. Just a reminder, Hinkle is on vacation this week, so it'll just be me on the chancel tomorrow. So please pray for me as I prepare to lead us in worship and to preach. Love you all. Grace and peace. We will see you tomorrow.